everyone, welcome to another video. If you are new, welcome, and if you're one of my regulars, welcome back. I've got some massive fashion news for you. This is particularly interesting to me. I really want to see how this plays out, not just in the industry, but also at a product level. We're going to be talking about Coach, or actually moreover, Coach's parent company, Tapestry. Tapestry are a New York-based fashion holdings company, and they own brands including Stuart Weitzman, Coach, of course, and Kate Spade. And Tapestry, typically, if you think about those brands tend to be more youthful, but also more affordable and US-based brands. And Tapestry are looking to purchase or take over CAPRI Holdings. And CAPRI Holdings own brands including Versace and Jimmy Choo. So those brands are slightly higher end and way more expensive. Now, this is a move that could change things up a lot. In fact, I think it will change things up a lot. If you think about European conglomerates like LVMH or Kering own Saint Laurent and Gucci from memory, they are two really big players in the market, and there kind of isn't really anyone else out there big enough to take them both on. But by buying CAPRI Holdings, Tapestry is going to be one of the first ever US-based companies that is actually going to be big enough to take them both on. Now, I'm going to go through some numbers in this. LVMH and Kering are like miles ahead when it comes to revenue currently, but you just don't know how this is going to work out in the longer term. I found a very interesting quote from Reuters, and they have said that luxury firms in the United States have consistently lagged behind their European peers in scale, limiting their ability to compete with LVMH, for instance, and their 75 brands. One could argue that the acquisition would bring in Versace and Jimmy Choo's clientele of wealthy customers, alongside Michael Kors and Coach's more younger customers. Do you see what I mean? So I think the merging of these two companies is going to be really, really interesting because it brings together two completely different ends of the spectrum when it comes to luxury. I think when you think about Coach and Kate Spade and Michael Kors, you do think about a younger audience starting out their bag journey, let's say, if we're talking about handbags. But I think we're also talking about, particularly in this economic downturn, we're talking about those who still want to be able to treat themselves, and they want something that is on the designer spectrum, but they don't want to spend thousands and thousands of pounds. And I think that's kind of like another angle that goes with that sort of clientele that buys those brands of items. This merger will see Tapestry become the fourth largest luxury company in the world. That's huge. Now, this is an all-cash agreement, and according to the terms, Tapestry will pay CAPRI shareholders $57 per share. Now, according to Reuters, this deal is expected to be closed in 2024, so it's still, the merger or the acquisition is still very much going through at the moment. And it's estimated to make $200 million in savings within 3 years of closing. I was mentioning there about how Tapestry will be going up against the likes of LVMH and of Kering. But at the same time, I also said to you that there is like a massive difference here in terms of revenue. So to give you a bit of an idea, Tapestry, their revenue combined with CAPRI Holdings revenue is 12 billion, and that was last year. If you compare that to last year's revenue for LVMH, theirs was 87 billion, and compare that to Kering last year, theirs was 23 billion. So Tapestry, with CAPRI Holdings incorporated in, they've still got a long way to go when it comes to revenue share and their sales in order to pitch them really up there with the likes of LVMH and Kering. An interesting quote that I actually found two that I want to read to you. The first is from Neil Saunders of Global Data. And listen to this. This deal comes at a time when luxury is facing something of a downturn or slowdown, especially in the North American market. Consumers, even at the higher income end of the spectrum, are starting to curtail spending. He wrote, "This has put pressure on Tapestry and Capri, both of which are now looking to international markets to bolster their growth." So, I've spoken on here before about the state of the economy and the state of the economy globally and how it's affecting people in different ways. And without doubt, we all have less money in our pockets. Like, the cost of everything has gone up, inflation's gone up, mortgages have gone up. Most of us have got less money in our pockets than we used to. And luxury is normally, if you look at some past recessions, luxury tends to be a sector that is pretty much safe in a way, sheltered, I want to say. But I think that this is a recession that we're in now, which is actually starting to have a little bit of an impact on luxury. There are, for example, if you look at the luxury car market, if you go back a year, certain cars were worth more than they were. Certain exotic cars were worth more than they were the day you bought them. So you drive them off the forecourt, they're already worth more because the demand was so high. That has started to change. Some of these cars are worth only what you paid for them, sometimes even a little bit less at the moment. And the same thing goes really when it comes to luxury. I'm really noticing on social media the change in purchasing power and the amount of money you guys are even all spending on luxury. You tell me in the comments, and I would actually really love it if in the comments you could write the country that you're from and what the economy is like where you are. I would personally find that really interesting, and I think a lot of others would, but also it kind of, in a way, it gives you comfort that you're not alone in a way, because, you know, in the UK, it's pretty bad here at the moment. It is pretty bad. But even those higher end customers, it's been reported, those higher end customers, even they are starting to slow down. And that is something that I think was pretty much unheard of. I think if you go back a few months, definitely a couple of years ago, I think all of us, including you guys, would have been saying to me, well, brands like Chanel, they don't care because the big customers are still going to spend. I think even they are slowing down, you know. I think things are happening that are not good. Now, I have so many questions about this merger and what this merger will mean for the products and for the brands. And questions I have are about whether this merger will increase prices on brands such as Kate Spade, Coach, etc., or whether it will leave them alone, whether it will increase prices like on Versace, or whether it will change the designs, whether new creative directors will be brought in. You know, very often when you see a merger and a new brand kind of takes over, very often they have their own people that they want to put into a place and their own changes that they want to make. And I really hope that, definitely with brands like Coach, that the kind of core DNA stays unchanged, because that's a really good brand. It's really reasonably priced. And I think it's a brand that spans all ages, you know. I think sometimes like Kate Spade can feel quite young, but I feel that Coach just kind of suits everyone, just kind of works with everyone. But I found another interesting statement from the Capri CEO, John Idle. And he has said, "By joining with Tapestry, we will have greater resources and capabilities to accelerate the expansion of global reach while preserving the unique DNA of our brands." So to me, that's encouraging, because that makes me feel as though they don't plan on touching fundamentals like quality, design and price. Although we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. This merger isn't set to complete until 2024, so things are very much still up in the air, and I really expect that the information we get about this will continually change over the course of the next year. I would be surprised if like the little details didn't change slightly over the course of the next year. 2023, I feel it's a strange year. Because of the economy, it's a strange year, and it's done strange things to the markets, and it's done strange things to how much everything is costing us all. But at the same time, one thing that's quite interesting is in July, I think it was, Kering bought I think it was a 30% stake or share in Valentino. And they did that for 1.7 billion, and that was back in July. LVMH, they're going to be a sponsor at the 2024 Paris Olympics. So Clearly these holding companies still have good money. They're not, you know, they're not scratching around. But I do wonder, I need to look more into the revenue and whether the revenue has dropped. Because certainly for Tapestry and for CAPRI, they are two holding companies that are outright saying spending has slowed down and it's affecting us. Which is why they're coming together and they're looking to spread their net further into the international community, I guess, to see whether they can boost sales that way. So quite an interesting kind of topic. Well, I hope you found it interesting anyway. Do leave your comments below what you think about how this might impact your favourite brands that belong to these two companies. Do let me know, I'd be really interested to know, and also let me know your country and how you're finding the economy for you. Are you still spending money on luxury or have you slowed down? I would love to know. Thank you all for watching. If you want to join me in another video, check out these two here. I hope you'll join me in one of these. Thank you, and I'll see you in a second.